comedian, actress, writer. You'll know her from Ab Fab, from Naked Video, more recently from Corrie. Much, much more. Her book, Not That I'm Bitter, came out... No, that's the title of the book. I'm not bitter that she's got a book out. I hope she's not bitter as well, because I'm about to talk to her. Helen Lederer, what a joy to see you on this Sunday morning.
It's a joy to be here in the souped-up offices.
So this is my first day controlling
How's it feeling?
Well, it feels like I've just been put onto the Starship Enterprise and no one has told me what to do.
No, but then here we are, and there's a lot of height. Your lovely producer had to walk me around it. There's a drop.
Yeah.
So I was going to just hang on to the back of her jumper in a scaredy way, because I've got this fear of, and then it's weak, isn't it? But
you got a fear of what?
Well, dropping. Of heights, vertigo.
Okay.
Because I did that dive. I don't know if you ever saw that, where I had to wear a swimming frock.
Absolutely saw that.
And after that, I'd like to blame the programme and everyone else, but I did get paid. I've got that slight thing of heights because it's so unnatural, even though it was a 3-metre dive.
Do you have that thing that you look down and you think, I'm going to jump?
Well,
that's what I do.
That you might jump by mistake.
Well, I wonder what will happen. No, just what will happen.
Yeah.
I think I know what will happen.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
It's not
unless there's
that
foam
urge.
or water.
No, even so, I know myself.
But no, it is that thing, because part of life is to preserve yourself, and so you're making yourself do something illogical.
Yeah.
But Tom Daly, very kindly, he held my hand. I do remember that, and we just jumped together. Should have been a romantic moment, but it wasn't.
And you were in quite an extraordinary bathing costume.
I know, because the thing is that in that first series, I said that I had to have a frill, like a little skirt, like a tennis skirt, around the décolleté area, as it were. And I think it was surprising that a middle-aged person in those days, it was like, 7 years ago, would be wearing a swimming frock. I call it a swimming frock. But now they're fashionable.
It works for me.
There you go.
It works for me. Well, do you mention this in your book?
I do, actually.
Oh, good.
One of the things that you do, one of the jobs I've done where you kind of, maybe is it a fear of missing out, or is it just want to get paid, or joining in? So the book does it's not pretty, some of it, but I have been told, and I'm not boasting, because also I was brought up not to boast and to write thank you letters and all that kind of stuff. It is a difficult thing promoting something, but if you don't promote it, people have laughed. And the idea of the book was that people would laugh. You know, I mean, why would I write a book that hasn't got a kind of comedic narrative?
Of course.
That's my goal. But then I thought I'll get told off by people, because people are quite strict in this industry, aren't they? Not meaning to be, possibly, if I leave stuff out. So I am alarmingly honest. And
but that's essential in a good biography.
Yes.
You know, of course. We want to hear the funny stories and the anecdotes, but we actually want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And it is a fascinating story. I mean, you're starting in the comedy world. First of all, women in comedy, it wasn't happening much.
It wasn't as normal as it is now, but then when people... And so some of the reactions to the book, people have asked some strange questions, because you feel that you... I mean, do you remember when you started out, you just want to do it? It's quite a pure instinct. You
want to do anything.
You do, and you just get yourself, even though obviously we're nervous and all that, put that aside. Who wants happy when they have a goal? So I kind of, it wasn't about happiness, it was about wanting to, and it just so happened at that time, there was Lovely French and Saunders. Those people were already established as the queens. So the women that came after, there was a bit of a gap, and then we were forced to compete against each other. And now it's so different. So I'm not bitter at all about that. It's an overview of how it was. And then all the disasters there were disasters. You've had disasters, Michael. Help me out here. We've all had disasters.
They're the lifeblood of what we do.
Yeah.
It's why I love doing live shows.
Yeah.
I love being live on the radio, live television, because you get that adrenaline. How am I going to get out of this?
And join things up, and then try and be interesting at the same time and have a thought. And I did read about, it's as if, particularly in those days, if you display nerves, it's not great for a woman either, because then you get the label of neurotic woman. And all these labels were becoming at me, and I'm going, no, this is me, this is how I do it.
So when you were going on stage to do your stand-up, for example,
yeah.
were you trying to be a character?
No.
Did you want to inhabit be right, I'm going to be a different version of myself, it'll still be myself, or are you going, no, this is just who I am?
Well, I think looking back at the clips, I mean, I can't believe, because there's a very passive-aggressive CV at the beginning of the book, which is just saying, by the way, guys, I have done these things because I can't remember them all. And the footage of being in Hysteria with Fry and Laurie, those days, coming on stage to a big theatre and then speaking words that I'd written, it is an odd thing to do. So maybe I kind of pushed myself out a bit more, but it was still me doing anecdotes. I don't think I thought about it. I just thought, this is what I have to do. It's quite a naive, genuine sort of jump into the business. And then obviously critiques of that, things, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they, Michael?
Yeah.
Even me. And it's dodgy sometimes.
So how did you go from that, from doing the stand-up thing, to then having characters, to then doing sketch shows?
Well, I think those are the jobs, because it was radio that came in. So I did 5 years of stand-up, of taking myself off to, rooms above pubs and sharing laboratories.
And I've got to say, stand-up has to be the scariest thing.
I think so, looking back. Although as an older woman, as an elder now, and I just did the Bath Comedy Festival last night, made a couple of mistakes at the top, did some really old gags, and I was doing those as an experiment to say, and they don't work now. But so that was a mistake, so I won't be doing that again. But then the lovely thing is just being ourselves and talking. So going on the literary festival for me, it's like stand-up comedy with clapping, because people have chosen to come. So there has to be a beauty in being older and connecting with people and just having the confidence to do that. Obviously, when you're stuck with your own script and some jokes are landing and some are not. I do admire stand-up comedians who just embrace the tour. I mean, I don't know if that's my landscape. I think connecting with people, talking to people is probably more my place.
Are you an improviser?
Yeah, just trying to think fast. I mean, obviously you have to think fast when things go wrong. I mean, you were in this, I know that you're so similar, although obviously I can't sing. That is where we differ hugely, because I know you were playing some lovely ABBA, so I got the recall in the days when, you'd have an agent and they'd say, go up for this.
Yeah.
Because I try and be conventional at the same time as doing the other writing and comedy stuff. And you know what? I get the recall because I can jolly about on stage in the costume. And the same for Wicked.
This is for Mamma Mia, wasn't it?
Yeah, but also for Wicked. I can't believe that I get so far. And then, of course, I fail because obviously I can't
Start
sing.
singing.
Because Michael, I cannot sing. And so that would let a lot of people down. But it's an interesting exercise to go, oh, they quite like me until they heard me singing.
So within the comedy fraternity, no, it's a sisterhood I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the sisterhood.
Might be a sisterhood now. It wasn't in the 80s.
Was it very competitive?
I think so, and because I started a stand-up, I stole late Maggie Fox, from somebody else's double act. She very kindly lent Maggie to me. So for 9 months I was with a stand-up, and the joy of being with someone else, the joy of just, like with you and your man, you don't have to live with each other, but you just, the comedy. But then she went back to the other Sue, and I then thought, right, it's me now. And I just did the stand-up, but then radio. I think you answered adverts in those days in the stage, things like that. I really wanted it. I wanted it so badly. And then I did a live radio thing for 5 series called In One Ear. And then just radio for me was just... It was so different because you'd go into the Paris studio, people would be clapping. If you dropped your script, people would think that was hilarious. You go, where is this love coming from? Where? Because, I'd be used to kind of going, oh, it's me now. And they're going, oh, it's a woman. Okay, we'll just, you've got like 2 seconds to kind of... maybe stay on with some warmth.
But how lovely to do that, make the transition to comedy shows that are still talked about now. The Naked Show, Ab Fab.
Yes.
I mean, just gifts.
They were gifts, but of course, again, at the time, and I'm sure this is the same for you, you just do your job, don't you? Just live your life. And nobody was going, right, you are now going to be a non-principal part in an iconic show that will go for 20 years and people will still talk about, makes everyone happy. You just go, I've got a job. And the role has got a name, which is a plus, because sometimes I'm just girl at the bar. And you do it as respectfully as you can, knowing your place. Like that sketch, where everyone knows their place. I know my place. So there's nothing too sad about not being in the elite, because I think that I've served the elite by keeping them up there, by not being an elite myself. So
I
it's
think
not
you're doing
sad
yourself
book.
a disservice. I think people will absolutely know and respect your work and you. And you kind of say, well, Helen Lederer we're in safe hands. She knows what she's doing. She's a proper pro.
Well, I'd like to think I'm a pro because, again, the wisdom of unusual jobs that come in, just kind of bracing yourself for it and getting on with it. So not too many things, freak me out now. But I have looked back at some of the, like doing a speech in front of Princess Anne that did not land entirely. Have you ever done that? One of those, it was lunchtime, so people weren't drinking and it was really brightly lit. And I didn't pronounce the names. And then the lovely lady in waiting was really nice beforehand, asked me if I watched EastEnders. Alas, I hadn't at that point. But they talk in language, for people to relate to, TV programmes.
Yeah.
Very nice people. And then it was slightly quieter when I went back to the table. Have you ever done a gig you go, okay, this
hasn't worked.
No, and can I cut? And then the woman giving me the trophies to hand out was sort of wringing her hands. So that's quite interesting. And then I didn't go home. I stayed and found some more people to go up to the bar. and I was like, this is the madness in me. I just don't behave normally. I'll just go, oh, well, yeah, that was bad. Anyway, let's have a drink. Awful.
So the big question is, are you bitter?
No.
Good.
No, I'm really not, because that would not be engaging. I just find the hysteria. I just want to laugh. I just need the surreal moment. I'm just seeking the hysteria all the time. And autumn of my years, I just think I've put it down there, and it is alarmingly honest. And I just want people to laugh and then, get the truth.
And have a think.
And maybe.
Yeah,
just because
yeah.
it would be cheating people if I didn't.
Your daughter's gone into the business, hasn't
Well,
she?
she went in and she went out.
Oh, did she?
Which I think is good.
Yeah.
Now, there's something else to be said about recognising, if you're in a profession that is hard, to go, you know what, I don't want this, and to find what you do want.
Yeah.
And finding what you do want is a bit of a privilege as well for a lot of people.
And she has done?
She has, yeah. She's in Ibiza and rocking and she's happy, which is important.
Which is the most important.
Yeah.
I hope you are.
I am happy. I'm delighted to see you because you are the jolly person.
You are sweet.
Yes.
You are sweet. And listen, big confession, I haven't read it yet.
I know you haven't.
I've looked at the pictures.
You're holding it. I'll take a picture of you holding it.
I'll do
That's the
that.
best
But I have looked
can
at the
get.
picture, and you open it and you think, oh, I love that moment. And it's full of historical moments.
I think that you with 80s and 90s, it's niche.
Well, that's me.
But, you will relate to
honestly.
those programmes that you loved.
Well,
hopefully.
if you wanna get a copy, and I urge you to, it's called Not That I'm Bitter. Not That I'm Bitter by Helen Lederer. It's out now. Enjoy the rest of the schlepping round talking about
schlepping.
it.
You're the beginning of my schlepping, and you've made it extra nice.
Oh, bless your heart. Thanks for coming in, Helen. God bless. Bit of Bon Jovi for you. Legendary, because you are.
Fantastic.